we start here. Hi, Miss Veronica. My name is Clarice. I'll be your CNA tonight. I'm coming here to do your modified bed bath. But before we start doing the modified bed bath, we have to make sure that your bed is locked at the lower position. We have to make sure we give you privacy. We wash our hands for 20 seconds. We gather our supply. The supply for this skill, we're going to be using 6 towels, 3 small towels, and 3 medium towels. So we have 1 towel that we're going to use for the face. We use 1 towel that we're going to use for your hand, under your hand. 1 towel that we're going to use for the table. We have 1 towel we use for the face. We have 1 towel that we use on your hand to wash, and 1 towel to rinse. So we make sure we hold away from our uniform. So we make sure that we have a table protected kitchen. Now we need a basin because we want to pick up water. We need soap for these skills. So now we're going to pick up water to wash our client. We make sure that we touch water, making sure that the water is at the moderate temperature. While we're filling the water in the basin, we pick up our gloves. When we bring water, we have to make sure that the client touches water. Miss Veronica, can you touch water? Reason being because sometimes they don't have good sensation. Some of them have diabetes or whatever. So now, when we finish to bring all our supply, we make sure that we wear our glove. We pick up the gown because this skill need a gown. We're gonna change the gown, the patient gown. So before we start washing the client, we undress the client first. We remove the gown that the client has. We make sure we don't overexpose the client. So we make sure the client is not overexposed. Okay, for my correction, if you forget your hamper, you can have your hamper with you. I have the hamper with me. I put the hamper. Now I make sure I cover my client because the client, they always cold. Now I wet my towel because when we're washing the face of the client, we not use soap. It's without soap. But we still fold the towel into 4. We're using stroke for each stroke. So I will use the first stroke to wash her eye, inner canthus to outer canthus. I use my second stroke, inner canthus to outer canthus. I use the third stroke for head, and then I use the next stroke for the rest of the face. Now I take this towel to dry. The same thing, each stroke, first stroke, inner canthus to outer canthus, inner canthus to outer canthus. I dry the forehead and the rest. Now that we finish to wash the face of our client, we're going to make sure that we wash her hand. We make sure that the client is not overexposed and the bed is free from wrinkles. We put a towel underneath. We put a towel underneath the client hand so we can wash her hand. So we wet the towel again. But this time around, we're going to use soap. So we put soap in on our towel, so we don't have to use any stroke. Now that we have soap in the towel, we soak it back. We remove excess water. Now we use to wash the client. We start from the shoulder of the client down to her hand. We make sure we wash each finger. We make sure we wash the palm of her hand. Before we get to her MP, we change the stroke. We leave her hand, making sure we wash all the armpits. We put it there. Now we take another towel. The next towel that we're going to take in, we will not use soap because we're rinsing the soap that we use. We start from the shoulder down to the hand. We make sure we rinse each finger, her palm, her hand, and then we change the stroke. And then now we rinse her armpits. Now the towel that we have underneath her hand, we make sure that we dry each finger. We dry her hand and then we dry also her armpit. we dry her shoulder. So when we finish to take off the client, we take off the client first before we dump our supply. So because we want to make sure that we don't overexpose her, we put on her gown. Because remember, we removed the gown when we were giving her a bath. Now that we finish our bath, we put her hand under the gown. Remember, we can't overexpose her. She's very cold. She's an old lady. So now we put this hand of her gown. Okay, now we can remove her cover. Make sure we cover her immediately so she will not get cold. Make sure we don't overexpose her. Make sure the bed is free from wrinkles. Okay, now that we finish to attend to our client, we can remove our hamper. We can dump our water. We rinse the basin. We dry the basin. Now we remove every supply that we have in the patient room to make it neat. We put it in the designated dirty area. Now we pinch our glove. Now we give the call light to our client. Miss Veronica, this is your call light. If you need me, please let me know. We make sure the bed is locked at the lower position. We open the privacy. We wash our hands for 20 seconds. Our skin is completed.